Oh, just a new phone.
That's new to me
Okay.
too. Okay. Hello, hi, my name is Melissa Carter, and I'm going to be talking about a persuasive topic on social media, the pros and cons, and the positive and negative side of social media. Social media has pros and cons. There are some positive and negative views depending on the person's perspective and maturity level. Some people on social media present themselves as having a perfect life, or they're rich, or they going through, or they psychotic, or they crazy. So I feel like every aspect of social media have its truth, and they also have a false narrative of it. So being that social media also alters people's perspectives and attitudes and moods and attitudes, you have people that believe that, oh, this person is evil, manipulative, or, angry. So social media tends to, make people have different opinions, even though they might not know the truth. There's three sides to every story. There's one person's side, the other person's side, and then the truth. And both parties might have some of the truth. Most parties might have some of the truth, but they don't have the whole truth because they're looking at it in their own perspective. Okay. Social media and also influence teenagers the more in this century, because when I was coming up, we had MySpace. We didn't have Facebook as of yet, and we had just got the little phones that you could take pictures, not the flip-up phones.
Okay.
So social media now for teenagers is a big influence. It also show, how they should look, what's the main, thing to have, or it's all about money, it's all about it's self-resorted. So social media give a bad outlook on that end for teenagers, when they should just be a child and just enjoy being a teenager, because when you become adult in social media, they ain't gonna tell you that you got bills, you got responsibilities, and if you do certain things, there's repercussions with, you doing it. But social media only shows the glamour side of it, not the bad side.
Okay, let me ask you one question.
Yes.
Now, what do you really think about the influence that social media has on the kids, on the children? Because some of the parents are letting these kids have phones at 7 and 8 years old. And some of them are not monitoring those phones when them kids have them phones. So it depends on what the parents, you have to put a lock on them phones so they can't get to certain stuff, because there's all kind of stuff that's on the social media that kids can get to. These kids are they're very diligent, and they're very intelligent when it comes to like the internet and all of this stuff. I have a 3-year-old grandchild that showed me how to get on YouTube.
And see, that, auntie, that is the reason why you have to know your children's boundaries. You have to set boundaries. At 3 years old or 7 or 8,
Yes.
I believe that depending on the child and how you
Raise them.
you shouldn't give the child a phone.
They're too young. In my opinion, they're too young for the phone.
Yes.
If you're going to give them a phone like when they go to school, like, some 10 and 11-year-olds, you give them a phone, but you still need to put restrictions on those phones.
Yes.
You need to put parental, where you have to, mash a button or whatever, and you know what I'm saying, they can't get into certain stuff. Because some kids are looking at the wrong things.
Yes, ma'am.
They're looking at the wrong things on these
ma'am.
phones. Yes.
And that's the reason why, when I was coming up, my dad didn't allow us to have a phone in the room. He didn't allow us to have our TV. I got my TV actually when I got 16 of age. So it kind of, he, tried to give me structure. But, kids are growing up in this digital age. Everything is access. And they're growing up so fast where they're not, enjoying being a child or enjoying being a teenager. And they do need to put, if you got a child and you're giving them, they 7 or 8, 9, you still need to give them boundaries where, okay, when you come home, you give me that phone. When you leave, I give you back that phone. So you can give them,
a certain amount of time to use the phone when they're home. You know,
Yes.
that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Because they have games and everything that they're putting on there, but you have to use parental supervision too for the games,
Yes,
because
ma'am.
some of the games are really like harsh and cruel and all of this and Jesus Christ. And some of the stuff that's on YouTube that some of the kids will try to watch, because if they see certain stuff on there and being a child, that you're gonna want to look at you. Ooh, look, ooh, you know. That's
And they-
and they keep going to that site.
And want to mimic it as well.
That's right.
And have you be wondering why your child have a certain
That's
behavior.
right. That's right.
And bolding up at you
Mhm.
because it's what they're seeing, what they're hearing.
That's right.
So that's the gateway to, you know, being the person that you are, what you see, what you hear. And so with social media, I feel like my conclusion is overall there are pros and cons.
Mm-hmm.
There are good educational sites
Mhm.
with,
Yes.
with social media, but they also are like you
Like
said,
you said,
Auntie,
yes.
they're bad
You
sites
have,
as
you have
well.
to you have to pay
So-
attention to what they're looking at. You know, and that's what I think with kids. Even if they 16, 17, you know, you pay attention to what, you know, who's this and that and that and that and that. You have to, because
Yes.
there's so much going on in this world now, and these kids are being led by this stuff. They're being led. They're being influenced by a lot of this stuff that they see people putting on Facebook and stuff, putting on a show. You understand what I'm saying? That they really doing it like this and this and this and this, and these kids be believing that, and then they try to mock them and do it. They try to do the same thing, try to imitate them,
Yes,
and do the
yes.
same thing. And then you know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of, also it's a lot of hatred and stuff on the social media. Kids go and meet up with each other to fight.
Yes,
You understand what I'm saying? People just dislike people from, you know, arguments on the phone, on the internet. Yes,
So,
the internet.
And so, in conclusion, I feel like there are pros and cons with the social media. There are negative and positive views of social media, and that you have to, you know, differentiate if you're mature enough to handle that or you're not mature enough. I also want to say thank you, Uncle Nate, for being my audience, and thank you, teacher. Have a good one.